Yeah, it's Disney Detonation coming at you from the Transformative Content Fair U Studios in New Jersey, and today is Vacation Detonation. It's going to be the second half of my Bermuda trip, and I'm just kind of done with it. I had many problems. The people that I went with didn't want to be on YouTube, so I lost a ton of content that way. All the files had no like timestamps on them, as far as like in the name of the file. It was just alphanumeric. There was no date or time, and I made the mistake of dumping everything into one folder, having to sift through it. And then a lot of the video is on that action camera, that wannabe hero, and it's got to be it's in fisheye. It's got to be taken out of fisheye. So this was just a exercise in futility. So I'm just getting through this today so I can move on to other content, because I'm just wasting my time with this at this point. Alright, so I'm going to shrink myself down. I'm going to blow through this as fast as I can. This is like the third time I've recorded this, and it's getting late here. I got to go to work tomorrow. Alright. So, this is Bermuda, and this is where we docked. We were this ship here. This is like a touristy area. This is where the Death Trap blow-up water park was. It's not here now. This is where the ferry leaves to go to the capital. I forget what it's called. So this is what the view was from the top of the boat, the top of the ship. So the catamaran there, you can rent that. It's pretty expensive. To the right of that is where the ferry picks you up. You can see that's where the helicopter pad was, where I showed you the Verrazano Bridge on the left down there, where I just moved myself. You can see the bounce park there, water bounce park. What a nightmare! There's the ferry coming in now, in the upper left, or actually middle of the screen. I gotta get a better camera. It's too much shaking. All right. So here is us leaving on that same exact ferry. So it's interesting because when you saw it in the video, it's like moving very slow. But once you get out of that bay area, it's like a hydrofoil. This thing just takes off. And there's our two ships. On the one on the right. I think the one on the left is a Norwegian. Okay, so then from here we took the boat over to, I guess it's Hamilton, not Harrisburg. Jeez, I can't even remember. So this is, we stopped here and ate at the Pickled Onion. And I couldn't really show you any pictures of that because, of course, there was a lot of pictures with the people that I went there with. But here's what it looked like from the outside. This is right where we were sitting. It overlooks the bay, and this is the bar, which wasn't too impressive. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us, 2 children and 4 adults, and the bill for 2 drinks and an appetizer was over $400. So while we were there, it started to rain, and we were walking around this park with the guy that I was with, and it started pouring. So we decided to get back on the boat. I'm going to play that. Of course, I'm cursing. So it's just starting to rain here as we're walking around this park. I mean, it was beautiful. Trying to go on a retreat to get out of the rain. I don't know what kind of trees those are, if they were humongous. So now this is us running to get back to the ferry because it's leaving at like in 10 minutes. So we got on the ferry coming back, and it's a 2-decker ferry. There's like an outside on top, and there was a bunch of people up there. There was kids and everything. I don't know if you can see up to the left-hand side there. There's a rain line, so we're going right into another downpour. And I'm like, I saw it coming, so I'm like, I got down. And as soon as it started raining, I went back inside. All right, so the next is we went back, and I don't need that because we're going back. Is the Frog and Onion Pub, which is kind of funny because the other place is called the Pickled Onion, and this is the Frog and Onion, which is a really good bar. So I'm going to take us through this little vestibule area into this area here where the bar is. I mean, these videos don't do it justice because it was beautiful. And the air was just different. It smelled different. It was... And so these buildings are all, I think, they're either 1700 or 1800. They're all stone. To the right, it used to be some sort of barracks. I went over there and looked inside, and...
I mean, wow.
And then up to the far, like, right, that building... That's a museum. I didn't get to go to it, but I wanted to. We just didn't have enough time.
This is the frog place.
So the reason why it's all cut up like this is because I didn't want other people in the video. So I guess this is the Cooperage House, which also has like a not just a Frog and Onion, but like a small boutique, and then like another little like I don't want to say deli, but like some area we get drinks and sandwiches. I was here, wasn't open yet.
Don't worry, we have time.
So my wife was worried that our daughter was in one of those not, I don't want to call it a daycare, but like a club. They had these, and they were tiered for ages. So it was like a certain, I think it was like
I do.
Like 10 to 12 or something, and then there was like 2 to something, and then there was like late night. And she was petrified that we weren't going to get back in time to get her out of this thing.
We go down this way, we go back.
So the boat's right there, so we really had plenty of time. All right, so, but nobody wants to leave their kid on a boat alone, right? So here's what it looked like inside the Frog and Onion. This is kind of what I was talking about. Like, this is a fireplace. I mean, like I mean, it's all stone. You can sit in there. Here's the bar. Now, they had microbrew beer too. I think they had 6 different types of beer, which I got a flight of that with. All of them were good. And if you look, you see those 2 barrels. So they had their own rum, which was like a blend of like 4 or 5 different rums. I actually wanted to buy a bottle of it, and then you could not. But they did let me. They did sell it. You could have like a shot of it. So basically, it tasted like Captain Morgan's, but not as sweet. It was really good. All right. So the next thing is going to be. So over here is this beach is a paid beach. Like, you have to pay to get on it. We actually ran into one of the locals, and they're like, "Don't do it. It's terrible." So we didn't do it. Here's, I don't know where I showed you that building. You can see it there. That was the museum I wanted to go to that we didn't get to go to. But over here is a weird miniature golf course, and I think it's here. I think that's it. They had these weird concrete tables, but you could get a good view of like the sun setting here. I'm going to show it to you now. It was really, really cool. There's our ship off in the distance. Yeah, the sun's setting. So what I'm doing now is I have that the action camera on I raised it up as high as it could go and just spun it around. And this is a still picture of the sun going down. All right. Great. The room's going to explode. Okay, so the next thing is Horseshoe Bay, which was beautiful. I've never been to I mean, the sands were actually pink. You could kind of see it here. I mean, like, it was weird. You could see it with your sunglasses more. I don't know why. So getting here, wow, it was crazy. I don't know if this does it much justice, but every road here is a 2-lane highway, and you're supposed to not pass. So I'll go back over here. So here, in this area here, they have buses or taxis to come get you. Now, initially, we were told not to take the buses. We had met a couple at the one of the food courts, the Windjammer or whatever it's called, and they're like, "Don't take the bus." So everyone wanted to take the bus. We all took the bus, $7 per person. You know, there's 6 of us. So the way the bus was set up was you have 2 seats on either side and then an aisle. So once the bus got filled up, they had these things called jump seats where you could sit in the middle of the aisle. Now, the crazy thing about that was that, you know, I'm not a small person, and I ended up sitting in one of these jump seats, and it was broken. So the entire ride, I'm sitting there trying to stop myself from hitting the person to my right and stop myself from hitting the person to the left, and it was crazy because, you know, there's these narrow roads, they're sharp turns all over the place, and there's also like rock walls that you're going through with foliage off of it. So it's like something out of like a movie. So you're driving on this road, you're hitting branches, you're hitting foliage, and you're flying all over the place. I wish I could have recorded this because it was spectacular. It would have been, you know, something to watch. But unfortunately, I couldn't, because I would have ended up smacking somebody with the camera or hurting somebody. All right, so you can see where all these the lounge chairs are and everything. I'm going to show you walking right up to that.
Sure.
All right, so you saw that. Go back to this. Now, so over here is like a cove area where there was all kinds of fish. We got there early in the morning, so there was really not a lot of people there initially. But this was really beautiful. Now let's show you. This is that cove. And you can see there's people there snorkeling. I mean, it was packed later on in the day. But tried to take some. There was fish, really colorful fish. So I just dropped the camera and hoping I'd catch them. So this is a still, and here you can see one of the fish. I mean, this does not do it justice. The fish was like all kinds of like blue, and I mean, it was really, really cool. All right, so. So now, this was really interesting. So this is like the super crowded area, but as you keep walking to the left, you come to these little cove areas, and they're very secluded. When I went there initially, it was early. There was no one there. Well, there was a few people here and here, but as I went further here, there was no one. And as soon as you get over this little path here, it's like a whole nother world. Like everything you can, that's like you smell flowers. There's all kinds of crazy birds. It was really, really cool. So this is me walking up to one of these ridges. I'll show you exactly where it was after this video. So that was right here. One of these paths led up to this little area, and I was looking to the left and to the right. It was poor camera work. This is another, I think the other side. It was like the middle, and then this is the other side. Alright, so this is pictures of what it looked like from the bottom. So we were looking at it from the top. This is the picture of like when when I initially showed you the path leading up. Same thing. All right, so now, this is a drive back with the taxi. So we, instead of taking that garbage bus back, we took a taxi back, and it was the best move we made so far because the driver was more of a tour guide than anything else, and I didn't feel comfortable recording him. I mean, he knew I had the camera.
Michael's a Bermudian. Is he really?
So we asked him a question about God, I can't remember the actor's name offhand. That lives in Bermuda, and he's a 7th generation, Bermudian.
Yeah. His lineage goes back 7 generations. And his cousin, named Nicholas Dill, is the current Anglican bishop of the church in Bermuda, as we speak.
It's Michael Douglas.
So I guess his kids go to school here and everything. Yes.
I mean, you can see this road. Look at it. And this bus was like, and the suspension was all screwed up. It sounded like we were going to crash at any moment. It was crazy.
His uncle was a shrewd businessman, also a Queen's Counsel designated lawyer. And every June for the annual Newport Bermuda yacht race, he would take his yacht out to the Devonshire and race down.
Yeah, I can see how this would bore the hell out of everyone. But here's another part which I thought was interesting.
Right now, we're not far from it because from May 1 to June 5, we had 9.5 inches of rain.
So if you heard him there, he said from May something to June 5, they had 9.5 inches from rain. So they have no wells on this island. So all of their water comes from rain. So they have these mechanisms on their roofs that filter all the water into tanks.
Wow.
So all their fresh water comes from rain.
So now a lot of the tanks are overflowing. At least mine is.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yes, it's good, but it's bad because you can't spread it throughout the island to cool the earth down, so it makes us vulnerable for hurricanes. Because hurricanes thrive off the
I mean, that bus freaked me out when it was coming. I don't.
The high humidity and the water temperature.
This doesn't freak anyone out. Driving on the other side of the road.
Did your ears just pop right there?
All right, enough of that. So now on to the bounce boat.
They're gonna last like 5 minutes.
So it's $30 for all day to get on this bounce boat. And that's a pirate ship over there that you can, there's a bar on there. I mean, but the thing is, we had a drink package, so we're literally like feet from the boat. Why would you want to go on one of these other things and pay $20 for a drink? It didn't make any sense, but people were doing it. So it's $30 per kid per person to get on this bounce boat. And my daughter and the child we were with, here's another view of it, went on this thing, and my daughter, they did give you vests, and she almost drowned on this thing. She couldn't. She was calling for help. There was a bunch of kids, lifeguarding this thing. They didn't help at all. So I basically had to jump in and go and pull her out of this thing. Which my wife was flipping out. It was definitely not a good time in that regard. But here is stills of the boat from the bottom. So those are the slides. It's a slide to get in. $30 all day. And that's that. So, and there's one more thing I'm going to show you guys before I'm done with this. And I'm sure everyone's checked out by now anyway. Which is fine. So there's this bar called the Anchor Bar, which is like a local bar. The locals would go to it, and it just disappeared because you stink. This is it right here. You can see the proximity from the boat. It's not far. We walked to this thing. It was at night. Some of the staff from the boat were in there, which was pretty interesting. Okay.
Oh, like Rocky. Are you safe?
So when I first walked into this place, this guy started throwing coasters at me. It was pretty awesome. So he's like, "What do you want to drink?" And I'm like, "Well, what do what's your drink? What do you suggest?" He gives me an egg, and he's like, "Here." And then I'm sitting there with an egg. And then he goes to help other customers. And I'm like, so I don't know. Finally, he gets back to me, and he uses the egg to make this drink.
What the hell are you getting? With an egg in it? I've had this before. I can't remember what it is. He knows what he's doing. So you know what you're getting?
No, he doesn't.
Ah, okay.
No.
You did that to me too.
He said, I know what I'm going to make you.
And the reason why it's all cut off like this is because there's people that don't want to be in the video or on YouTube. I mean, this guy was awesome.
Oh, I have to stop. Yeah.
Ready?
Stop. And then what do I do?
So he gave her a lemon,
Oh,
and the whole bar is watching at this point. Throw some sugar on there, and now he lights it on fire.
I wouldn't drink that right away.
Yeah, I'd wait a little bit.
Two sip. After two sip, I would eat the lemon like a candy. But let it cool down first. Yeah? You listen?
Yeah. You heard him, right?
2 sips. Eat the lemon.
Do the skin, but face this way.
Wait a little while.
Yeah?
Then drink the whole thing. Or just sip it.
He said 2 sips.
So the drink was one of the best drinks I ever had in my life, and I have no idea what it was. I have no, like, he told me what it was. I tried looking it up online. I have no idea. So here's what the bar looks like from outside. Here's the sign for the entrance. This is the bar, what it looks like from outside. They have outside seating. This is the indoor. This is where we were inside. And I was sitting at that third seat from the left. Or the right. So there was one other thing I wanted to show you that was by the Frog and Onion, which I thought was hilarious. So I'm walking through here, and there's a cat in this glass case. I wanted to stop and record it, but I didn't want to pester this family. I thought that was pretty funny. And then there's a picture I wanted to show you guys at night when we were walking back. This is when we were walking back from the Anchor Bar. I thought that was pretty spectacular. All right, well, that's it for this episode of Vacation Detonation. And I hope I didn't bore the hell out of everyone, and anyone who lasted this long, thank you. And I'll get back to other things very soon. And I got a ton of ideas that I'm working on that I think some of you guys are going to like. End transmission.